We're going to review some live streams today. Without fail, somebody's going to ask, how do I get my live stream reviewed? You need to go get all access, and then you can get your live stream reviewed. And it's totally worth it because you also get access to our courses and one-on-one coaching calls and a bunch of other good stuff. So check that out. Link in the description. First up, we have Waypoint Church, and they're just looking for help mixing consistently. They just want an overall review of their live stream sound. So that's who I have pulled up first here. We're going to take a listen right now. Here we go. Maybe. I bet you this thing's muted right here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Props to the bass player. That's good stuff.
For sure.
What I noticed first is it sounds a little bit on the muffled side. And so I was trying to figure out why it sounds that way. A couple of things could be going on here. Maybe you're passing your room EQ onto the live stream mix for some reason. If you're using a matrix, that can happen. But if you're using a bus mix for your live stream, that's not the issue. So we can just rule that out. That's not the issue. I would look at the overall EQ on your live stream bus. Hopefully you're using a bus, if so. And just make sure you're not doing anything crazy there. There really should be minimal EQ on your live stream bus because everything should be EQ'd to sound good in your room, which should also translate well to the live stream. But again, this is assuming that you've EQ'd your room, because if you don't EQ your room, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be EQing individual channels to make them sound right in the room, whereas it would be better just to apply a room EQ on your main mix. That way it filters everything through the main mix EQ to make it sound good in your room. Otherwise, you're applying all that EQ on a channel basis, and then that EQ is going to be passed to the live stream as well, and then it's going to sound weird in the live stream because the live stream doesn't have the same response as your room does. So you may want to start there. If you've never EQ'd your room, I have a video on how to do that. I even have a video on how to do it on the X32 specifically, which I saw that's the mixer that you're using. So I would take some time to go through that process, EQ your room, and then go back to your individual channels and level out that EQ and kind of start over, start fresh, and that's going to bring some life and brilliance back to your live stream mix, because that's really the only thing that could be making it sound dull is if there's EQ going on there where you're kind of cutting out highs where you don't need to and that sort of thing. So that's where I would start. And I'd also add some ambience to your mix. I noticed it sounded pretty dry. I'm not hearing any reverb, and I'm not hearing ambient mics either. The easiest way to fix that is to start with reverb. You can send the same reverb that you're using in the room to your live stream if you are using reverb in the room. If you're not, I recommend adding reverb to the room too, because it's making your room mix sound better. And then you can also use that on the live stream. It'll make both of them sound better. Again, I have another video on how to, my top 3 reverbs that I like to use, so you can use that. But let's say you don't want reverb in your room mix for whatever reason. That's okay. I understand that's personal preference, but I would still add some to your live stream just because you don't have any natural reverb going on a live stream mix like you do in the room itself. Because it looks like you have a pretty big room there, so maybe it's pretty lively and you don't need a lot of reverb. And that's okay, but still add some reverb to the live stream mix. And also add some ambient mics on top of that. Ambient mics are mics that are pointed towards the crowd, and they're picking up the sound of the room and the sound of the crowd, and it just brings your live stream sound alive. It makes them feel like you're there. The easiest way to do that is just to buy 2 pencil condenser mics, and you place them right under the main speakers pointed towards the crowd. This will make sure you don't have any audio alignment issues and things like that. So since you submitted your live stream, that means you have access to our courses. There are videos in the courses on how to do all of this. Live Stream Mix Made Simple course, that's the one you're looking for. So just fix those EQ problems first, and then add reverb and ambient mics, and you're going to notice your live stream mix go to the next level. Dylan, what do you think?
I think your visuals look good. I'm just noticing some slight variation from shot to shot with contrast and saturation. So I would just work on dialing in that. Like the shot we're looking at right now, it looks great. I would make everything match that one. See, now we're going back to here. It's looking a little less saturated and the contrast is a little more flat. And I think there's a couple other shots too. So just make them all match that previous one that we were looking at, and I think you'll have a really good looking live stream.
All right, now that I'm looking more closely like at the visual side of things, because I'm the audio guy, Dylan's the visual guy, but as he was talking, I was just watching. Your vocalists are not singing into their mics correctly. A lot of them, your background vocalists, they're a foot away from the mic, 2 feet away from the mic. They need to get right up. They all have their own mic, so they need to be right up on it, all of them. No more than an inch from their mouth. So I would do some training there with their mics, because it's going to give your vocal sound a lot more depth and a lot more clarity if you'll get them holding those. Oh, I see the ambient mics. They already have them.
Oh,
So, yeah. So you just need to turn those up, apparently, because I wasn't able to hear them. But, yeah, my vocals, hold your mics correctly.
On the topic of the microphone placement, we get a lot of comments when we say that about the 1-inch thing. You know, people especially people that work in studios, 1 inch is not the most optimal place to have it, because you're going to get plosives and you're going to get probably more body than you really want. And what's your response to that?
Okay, so we're in a live setting, right? So we also have to balance feedback issues, and we have to balance the noise going on in the room, because the further away you get from your mic, the more other noise it's going to pick up.
Because you also have to increase the gain.
Right, in comparison to the volume of the actual singer coming through the mic. So I want as clean of audio as possible with the least amount of gain as possible, especially in a live setting. We're not talking about a studio here. We're not mixing for a studio. If we were mixing for a studio, it'd be a totally different story.
Then you could be the perfect distance from the mic all the time.
But in a live setting, no more than an inch from the mic. That's the best. And you're going to have to use a low cut filter and maybe even a low shelving filter to kind of trim the body out of a vocal, because it may sound too thick whenever they're holding the mic that close, but that's what EQ's for.
It's a give and take.
Yeah.
You got to weigh the pros and cons here.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty.
Thanks for sending that in. Let me get the next one pulled up here. It's from Waypoint Church. Overall mix seems to be the biggest problem right now. I would like to have a modern mix like you promote here on Collaborate Worship, but consistently I feel the backup vocals are competing with the lead vocal. All right, we'll take a listen to that, see what we can do. And pull up trying to find the right place in your live stream here. I see a lot of announcements there. Here we go. Still not the right place. But we'll keep going.
Let's all stand up.
How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood, His mercy reigns on ending love, amazing grace.
All right, so here's what we need to do. So right now we have like lead vocal, acoustic right here at the top, and then some background vocals, and then the instruments are like way down here. So we need to adjust where things are in the mix to get that modern mix that you're looking for. Specifically, you need a lot more drums in this mix, and you need more bass guitar in this mix. You need less acoustic guitar and more piano in this mix. So you're basically, I would kind of pull the vocals out of the mix and mix your instruments so that you get a nice full sound with just your instrument mix, and then bring in your background vocals at that point to kind of blend them in with the instrument mix, and then set your lead vocal on the top. So yeah, just adjust those things in your mix. So we're getting a lot more drums, a lot more bass guitar. I didn't notice the background vocals sounding too far forward, but I did notice that there wasn't really any reverb on them or ambience. So they definitely need that. So once you get your kind of mix resituated there, the next step would be to add reverb to this mix. And I have a video in the course that walks you through the 3 reverbs I recommend using. Plate reverb on vocals, hall reverb on instruments, room reverb on your drums. And if you already have reverb set up, you just need to use more of that, because I'm not even hearing it in the mix. The kind of goal for mixing reverb is you turn it up until you can hear it, and then you bring it back down just a little bit until it blends in and it's not a distraction. This would be a great time to talk about the LR bags. pickup, because that acoustic guitar, and this is not a knock on the acoustic guitar player himself, it's a knock on the manufacturer of this acoustic guitar who puts a crappy pickup in their guitars. And I don't know why they do that, but it's really troubling.
Troubling.
So what do we do about that, Dylan?
You get an LR Bags Anthem and you put it in there. It's going to cost you a little bit of cheddar, but it'll be worth it.
How much?
$300 for the pickup, around $100 for someone to install it. So it's $400.
It's rare that we say, hey, go get some new gear to fix this problem. But in this case, it's the only fix, because if you're given the mixer a crappy acoustic sound to work with, and you can only EQ that sucker so much, but you can't make it really sound different. You can just shape the sound that already exists, right? And so that acoustic guitar sound that you're getting from that pickup is just like can't polish a turd. That's how I've heard some people say it.
You know, I did notice it's missing a lot of low end, which, you know, when you don't have as many instruments, I feel like it could have used a little bit more low end. Not like occupying what the bass guitar and the piano are doing. Maybe they just trimmed it up too much.
Yeah.
That could be a thing too. Maybe try trimming back your low cut a little bit. It was just sounding really thin considering how few instruments you have on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So that could have been something too. But yeah, LR Bags Anthem. Great for any guitar. If you're shopping for a guitar, just get a guitar without electronics in it and then install the LR Bags instead of, you know, looking for a guitar that has crappy electronics in it.
Yep, and we are giving one of those away right now. Acoustic guitar fully equipped with LR Bags. If you want to enter that giveaway, there's a link in the description for that.
You know what? While we're listening to the next one, I'll go grab it and show it to you when we come back.
Yeah, that sounds good. Last thing on this mix, I really recommend going to, since you have access to the courses, Church Sound Made Simple. There's a Church Sound 101 course, and I would just start there. What I want you to do is go through each of those videos and make sure you're doing gain and low cut filter and all of that as I recommend in those videos, and just kind of start to build this mix from the ground up. I hear some funny EQ things going on, and maybe you just inherited that from over the years. Sometimes we add EQ and then we just leave it there because we're afraid to change it and things like that. So yeah, go and work through that just one step at a time. And then from there, from the 101 course, go to the Consistent Mixing Made Simple course. Once you get through those two courses, you're going to have a mix that sounds drastically different and so much better. But just keep working at this. This is not a down on you at all. You have a great start here going. We're just helping you move on forward. We're all moving forward, honestly. There's always something that we can do better. So my hat's off to you. Great job with what you have so far. Just keep working forward and you're going to get the mix that you're looking for.
So visually, one thing I'm noticing is that our guitarist here is looking really purple, and I'm not sure why, because not everybody looks that way. I'm thinking that maybe he has a light fixture on him that has a really magenta cast to it. See, like the gal over there on the right in front of the piano player, her skin tones look good. We need to get everybody else's skin tones looking like hers, whether that's adjusting the lights, because you can tell that everybody's kind of a different brightness, so it looks like they need some adjustment. Maybe they're different fixtures, I don't know. But it'd be worth it to invest in fine-tuning your key lighting so that we can get everybody looking the same skin tone, the same brightness, all of that, and it'll take your live streams to the next level. So there's my one tip for you.
Nice. Thanks for sending that in. It's an honor to help you out. Rachel on here says, looking forward to the SQ training on how to EQ our room. We had someone come in and do it for us, but would like to know how to do it. Yes, that is coming very soon. I actually, up next is the mix with me on the SQ. Recording that tomorrow, actually. So hopefully we have that to you by the end of the week, and then we'll get the EQ video out to you. So glad you're enjoying that SQ training. Again, if you have the SQ mixer, we have a mastery course for that now. So that's what Rachel is talking about. Go get access to that. CollaborateWorship.com.
There's the guitar. Paul brought it to us. Can't beat an E chord. It just sounds so good.
Of course, he's not plugged in, so you're not hearing the LR bags there.
You know what? Maybe I can get it plugged into our audio interface here and we can hear it. I'll try.
You should give it a try. While you're doing that, I'll pull up the next one.
I did have a few people ask, when you look at this, if you know anything about the LR bags. Yes, it's on the opposite side of the sound hole that you would usually see it. Usually it would be up here. The luthier just did that. I'm not really sure why, but it does not affect the way it sounds. It is just kind of a little bit different in how you're controlling it. The controls are opposite. But you know what? If you're getting this and you've never had an LR bags before this, I mean, it's going to feel natural to you because you never knew it any other way. So if anybody notices that, that's why.
Maybe the luthier was having a bad day that day. And just
Or my thought is that maybe he thought it would sound better if the piezo part of the pickup was coming out of the treble side of the guitar. And so then he just kind of mounted it over there because it's closer to that side of the bridge. I don't know. I didn't really ask him. I didn't really have a chance to because he wasn't there when I picked it up. But it still sounds great. I mean, I have a Taylor with the LR bags in there, and it sounds just as good. So no worries with that.
I'd give it an A+.
A+.
And again, you can hear what it sounds like by going and signing up for the giveaway. There's a video there where Dylan plays it for you. So
Yeah,
you can
that's
hear
true.
it. All right, this next one's from New Life Church. I'm looking for another perspective. Anything that stands out that needs addressed. I'm mostly wanting feedback on the audio. As well, we're working on the lighting and cameras. Our vocals all take turns to lead while we use backing tracks for drums. Awesome. Thanks for all that info. Let's take a listen right now.
Because he lives, this is my song. In Christ alone, my solid ground. Amazing grace, oh how sweet the sound. On that rugged cross, Jesus paid it all. Because he lives.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit to hear a different part.
the things that we went through.
The Lord will provide. My Father has it. Everything I need, everything I need. I know my Father has it. My Father has it. And every single time, the Lord will provide. I know my Father has it. We'll seek first the kingdom and
All right, overall, mix is sounding good. A few things that I would change to kind of take it to the next level is I would add some depth back to the vocals. They're sounding a little bit thin. They need some more warmth added to them. So just go and check your low cut filter and wherever you're cutting out of the lows, low mids, I'm talking like 400 hertz and down. Bring some of that back into all of your vocals. They're just sound a little bit on the thin side. That'll warm them up and even add some more depth to the mix. And I also noticed that ambience is a little bit too much in this mix. Like the mix just sounds a little bit swimmy, and that could be caused by either your ambient mics being too loud in the mix or too much reverb in the mix, or your reverb decay time might be just a little bit too long. So I would just kind of go through and diagnose which of those is causing the problem. Maybe just start by bringing the verb and the ambient mics down a little bit to bring some more focus to the mix. I don't think you'd go crazy there. It was just sounding a little bit too much ambience going on there. So tighten it up a little bit by removing some of that. What do you think, Dylan?
Visually, again, I'm noticing some weird skin tones here. You can see they're looking kind of magenta. It looks like a white balance issue to me on this because they look fine here. So just make sure your cameras are all white balanced correctly and matching. And then that LED wall is really cool. It's a big old LED wall.
Huge.
I would say that it might be a little bit too bright in comparison to the people. My personal rule of thumb is you don't really want your LED wall or your backlighting or anything else to be brighter than people's faces because they're the focus of the shot, not the LED wall. So I would dim that down. I bet people in the room would probably appreciate it too, unless this is just like the cameras are making it look way more out of balance than it actually is in person. That can happen too.
Because it could be they need more front lighting.
Yeah, could be that. Or the camera just doesn't have very good dynamic range.
Hard to know without being in the room, right?
Mm-hmm. And then I think you would really benefit from some backlighting on everybody on stage. So let me show you real quick. So we have some backlighting on us right now. If you look, this is mirrored, sorry. On my shoulder here, you see that warmer lighting on my shoulder. You can see it kind of on the back of Cade's head on my hat there. So let me turn it off and on, and you can kind of see what it does. Hopefully I can find the right one. Let's see. Nope.
Say goodbye to the blue lights. And the other blue lights. There, now it's gone. So no backlighting and backlighting. Makes a difference. It separates you from the background, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it looks really good to have backlighting you can do colored backlighting if it's an RGB color, or warmer than your key lighting. It's not hitting your skin tone, so it's okay that it's warmer, and it adds definition that it wouldn't if it was the same color as your key lighting. It would just kind of like blend in to the key lighting if it was the same color. So as you can see, it's a pretty warm color temperature on my shoulder, but it separates us from that blue pretty nicely. So see if you can invest in some backlighting. I think it would really take your stuff to the next level.
What do you say about whenever somebody wears a hat and it causes a shadow on their forehead and in their eyes on camera?
Well, have them flip it around, I guess. It is what it is. You know what's funny, though, is even with my eyes shadowed, they're still brighter than yours. Cade's eyes are so dark, it doesn't matter like how much light I put on him, I cannot get them to show up on camera.
Just looks like one big pupil.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's funny.
All right. Thanks for sending that in. We appreciate it. Take those. You just have a few small changes to make. It's going to make a big difference. All righty. We're going to pull up the next one here. This is from Tim with Black Hills Cowboy Church. Still learning and trying to implement the things I learned. Love the SQ training and look forward to the last few videos that come out. Thanks for your input and help. This week we had some trouble with our live stream and the band was small, so I was trying to run the board and fix things. Wasn't my best work for sure. Our announcement mic is having trouble. Now it's on the right channel. It's panned to the middle. All right. Let's see. Gave me a couple of links here. I'll just choose this first one.
Went above and beyond.
And here we go.
Oh, yeah, I remember the Cowboy Church.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in Father's house.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
My life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. Give you everything. Your goodness is running after me.
All right. Man, you've made a lot of progress.
I think just a little reverb and they'd have a solid mix.
Yeah, and I hear the reverb in there, so maybe just a little more reverb.
On the vocal.
Yeah, on the vocal specifically. And then that is great.
I think if I remember correctly, they kind of had the background vocals pretty high with the lead vocal. That was a pretty good balance.
That was
I like
great.
that.
Yeah. Great job.
Great job.
A little
Oh,
more
they-
reverb.
they
That's
couldn't
all we
see.
have for you this
We gave
time.
you a thumbs up. You couldn't see.
Thumbs up. That's awesome. Really great job. All right.
Was that it?
I think we have one more.
One mo. Oh, visually. I don't think I noticed anything different from the last time. It looks good.
Sweet. That's awesome. Let's see. Was that Rachel? Was that you? Was that your? It says Tim on the. Not Tim, Rachel. Okay. I don't know why it says Tim.
I think that Google Sheet's being kind of weird.
Sorry for the mix-up, but Rachel, thank you. And great job. Really, great job. Grace Immanuel Bible Church is up next, and we will take a listen right now. Yep, that was Rachel. Great job. It's been so fun, like going with you on this process of just taking steps week after week after week, month after month. Great job. All right, here we go.
I cry out, 'cause you're holy, holy, holy are you, Lord. Jesus, King of kings. Jesus, majesty. Standing
Awesome. Thanks for sending this in. I was listening because it's like I think there's some weird EQ thing going on here, and I was trying to diagnose where it was. Kind of sounds like it's on everything, so it makes me wonder what kind of EQ you have on your live stream mix itself, on the bus mix. I would go look at that and see what's going on, and if there is EQ there, I'd go ahead and just level it out and see if that solves the problem. You really shouldn't have to put EQ on your overall live stream mix. Like, if anything, maybe like a little minor thing or something like that. So if you're going crazy there's another issue back up the line that's causing the problem. And a lot of times that can be caused because a room has not been EQ'd properly. So this kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Your room EQ, which is EQ that you put on the main mix to make your sound fit your room, it's kind of like a filter that you send everything through before it hits your main speakers. That way you don't have to EQ things further up the line. Like that way you're not EQing a vocal to fix how it sounds in the room. You just EQ the vocal so that it sounds good no matter where it goes. So I would check that too. If you haven't EQ'd your room, it's worth the time to go ahead and do that. And then you can go back channel by channel, level out that EQ and start over. But I would just be interested to see how you're EQing things. If you're using the X32, you can send me a scene, and I'm sure you could do that if you're using the SQ or QU as well. And then I could take a look at what you're doing and help you diagnose where the issue is. It just sounds a little bit on the funky side, EQ-wise, and it's kind of hard to diagnose just by listening to the overall mix where that is happening. But I'd be glad to help you find that out. I also noticed the keyboard sound earlier, like in that first song, she had keyboard and then she had like some kind of synth or pad thing with her keyboard. And the pad was just like loud and overwhelming. So I would talk to the keyboard player in that instance, be like, I need the balance between the piano sound and that synth sound to be different. I need you to turn down that synth because the synth is taken over the mix and I'm not able to get the keyboard loud enough in the mix. So those are just conversations that you have to have with your musicians. They're not always fun conversations, but they're necessary because that's the only way that you can fix that problem. And also, since your keyboard player sounds to be like your main instrument in your songs, I would check and see if your keyboard is running through a stereo mix. That means you got a left and a right signal. It did not sound like it to me. Pianos sound a lot better when they are giving you a stereo mix. They just have a lot more life to them. So it's worth doing that. So take a look at that, see if you can. It's going to take up 2 channels on your mixer. One will be panned to the left, one will be panned to the right. It's going to make your keyboard sound a whole lot better. Yeah, so the EQ issue and then the piano issue. And then I think if you did those 2 things, you'd have a much better mix. It'd really take you to the next level. What do you think?
With what you said or visuals?
Either.
Word. Visually, I think it looks good. Your skin tones look great. The exposure looks great. I'm just noticing some blown out areas, but I think it's just because of lack of dynamic range in the camera. I think like for what you're working with camera-wise, it looks like it's balanced pretty well. If you want to take away those blown out highlights, you could try dropping your exposure by like 1 stop, see if that fixes it. I think you got a little bit of headroom as far as brightness to do that. On this framing, I'm kind of curious to know why everybody on stage is like in the upper left corner. I'd like it more if they were centered, probably. Maybe you have like a bunch of dead space there on the left that you're trying to block out, or maybe there's something you don't want on camera. If that's the case, maybe you just zoom in on them a little bit more. I do like that you can see some of the congregation and that it's not just focused on like 1 or 2 people in the congregation. So maybe just see if you can work with the angle and how they're framed in the shot. But other than that, looks great.
Awesome. Thanks for sending that in. I think that was the last one. Let me double check. Oh, there's one more.
One more.
About to checked. This is IAFCJ Tulsa. Hey, neighbor.
What up?
We have a neighbor. We are also in the Tulsa area, Owasso specifically. All right, let's take a listen to this.
Hay santo como el Señor, pues son Dios.
You know, I think this is my friend that I met at Walmart. I think his stream got left on the list from last time.
Nice.
Cool. So we got to hear it again.
Yeah. I give you an A+. That's a good mix. I was like, what would I change in this? I would just make the drums a little louder, especially the snare. Wasn't really hearing the snare as loud as I would like to. Bring up the kick. Kick, snare, drives the mix, especially in a song like that. Bass guitar sounds real good, though. Vocals sound good.
Did you notice maybe the lead vocal could use a little more compression?
Maybe a little bit. Yeah.
I noticed some like hot spots
Yeah.
in her volume.
So dial that threshold down a little bit to compress the lead vocal more. But yeah, great job. I would only have noticed those things if I was listening for them like I am now. But if I just heard this like in passing, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, we're having a good time too.
Yep.
I love it.
That's awesome. Thanks for sending that in. All right, that's a wrap for this time. Thanks for sending those in. If you want your live stream reviewed, go get all access using the link in the description. I think we also have a mixing cheat sheet for you in the description and a guitar giveaway in the description. So many great things in the description. So go check out those links. And I think that'll do a wrap for today, unless Dylan's got something for us.
They're going to do a rap?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I don't got anything.
Oh, come on.
You do it.
I don't have one either.
We don't have rap in us.
Nope.
No. All right, y'all. Have a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, wherever you are. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being with us.
See ya.
Bye.